something.
All right. So this story is just now gaining traction. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I hope that people said they're going to call Big Crump and he needs to get involved. Al Sharpton, all of them need to get involved with this to make it more, people talk about it more. Some light on it. A mother reported her son missing in March. Okay. Mm-hmm. Police kept the truth from her for months. It says in Jackson, Mississippi, 7 months of searching for her lost son brought Betterstein Wade to a dirt road leading into the woods, past an empty horse stable and a scrapyard. The last time she seen her middle child, who was Dexter Wade, 37, was on the night of March 5th, as he left home with a friend. She reported him missing. The Jackson police told her they'd been unable to find him. It wasn't until 172 days after his appearance that Betterstein learned the truth. Dexter had been killed less than an hour after he left home, struck by a Jackson police car as he crossed the nearby highway. Police had known Dexter's name and hers, but failed to contact her, instead letting his body go unclaimed for months to the county morgue. Now it was early October, and Betterstein had finally been told where she could find her son. She pulled up to the gates of the Hines County Penal Farm, her sister in the passenger seat. A sheriff deputy and 2 jumpsuit inmates in a pickup told her to follow them. They bounced down the road and curved into the woods, crawling past rows of small signs and all this other stuff. Girl, look at this, Betterstein, 65, said to her sister. Would you believe they would bury someone out here? The caravan came to the end of the road at another clearing with more markers. The deputy took one of Betterstein's hands, her daughter and the other, and they walked to the mounds of loosely packed dirt. They stopped at grave number 672. She bent over, hands on her knees, and she cried out, her voice echoing from the trees, I'm sorry, baby, I'm sorry. So what happened was, it was an off-duty police officer. He was driving a police car, okay? He struck her son on the highway. It was an accident. And to cover up, the police, this is what they saying, allegedly covered up. He had ID and all that in his pocket. They said they could identify him. They didn't know who he was. So he was left in the morgue as an unidentified body.
ID in his pocket.
Well, they took all that out. See, he had prescription drugs. That's it. She said he didn't have ID. It was a prescription drug that had his name on it or something like that. Mm-hmm. So she called, a few days later or whatever, and said, my son is missing. Mm-hmm. And they didn't connect the dots that your son is laying in the morgue. Mm-hmm. The guy who you're saying is missing is the guy that's laying in the morgue. They didn't connect the dots because they didn't put it in the system. Mm-hmm. Which means they were trying to protect that off-duty officer. Now, my opinion, allegedly, I don't know, he probably was drunk.
The officer?
Yeah. Because why else would you try to cover it up?
And that makes that also gives me more clarity and understanding with the Black Lives Matter movement. Did this Black Life not matter? That they just truly didn't give truth to the mom, treated him like he was just some garbage or something, and covered their butts. That's why that movement is so, they were trying to make a point.
Right.
We say all lives matter. I wish they had named it Black Lives Matter too, and treat her son like anybody, any other mother.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be your son that was involved in an accident with one of our troopers. We're going to, look into it and whatever, even though he was in trouble.
Yeah.
Like you said, he could be intoxicated or whatever.
Or he could have even made a mistake. It said right here, Dexter was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. After starting medication, he decreased his illegal drug intake and stayed at home most of the day, cleaning and taking care of the yard. He liked to give homemade ice scoops to kids on their street, and he handed out food to people who didn't have any homes, he said. He rarely left the house for more than a day or two. He never showed signs of wanting to hurt himself. He didn't seem like he was in a bad place, she said, but I don't know what happened on that particular day. It could have been an accident. He could have been in a psychopath, whatever, and walked out in the middle of the highway and the man hit him.
Right, his medicines could have caused something.
You don't know what happened.
But the fact, how did they find out though? How did she find out?
Well, it says here, she and Dexter, let me see, she returned home, found one of her windows broken. She and Dexter argued about it, and around 7:30 p.m., he left with a friend. Days passed without a word. On March 14th, she called the Jackson Police Department to report him missing. The decision to call the police was difficult, she said, because she don't trust the police. In 2019, her 62-year-old brother died after a Jackson officer slammed him to the ground. The officer was convicted of manslaughter. So she thinks that there was something they got against her family.
Foul play or something.
That's what she said she don't know. Because my brother was slammed and we won and the officer went to jail. Does the police department have an issue with her family? See, we don't know. So it says her family filed a wrongful death lawsuit accusing Jackson officers of excessive force. The city has denied the claim and said it isn't liable for what happened. The officer's lawyer said they acted responsibly, and a federal judge dismissed some of her claim. Others remain pending. So it hasn't even been over yet, that case. She said her mother advised her not to call the police about Dexter. She said, my mom said they're not going to do anything, Betterstein, but I had to do something. I had to find him, she said. An investigator...
And bring closure.
She said an investor came to her house and took a statement. He emailed the investigator a picture of him. He left a card and a case number. 2 days later, she emailed a different investigator and another photo of her son. The original investigator filed an incident report that misspelled Dexter's name as Dexter, Dester. She said she kept regular touch with the police, asking for updates and requesting that they put his picture on the TV. She did her own search, checking for abandoned homes, driving around the neighborhood, all this stuff. On
her own.
I'm trying to get where she found out. Each time she called the police, they told her they had no information. It turned out that the Jackson Police Department had the answers all along. The department did not respond to detailed questions and has not commented or explained how it handled Dexter's death. After this article was published, a spokesperson for the Jackson's mayor emailed a statement offering our sincere condolences. So they didn't give her any answers. They just out of the blue said that they knew where they know where he is.
And this is since March?
Yeah.
This year.
No, this is now but he's been missing since March. Yeah.
Right. So we're in October. Wow.
So whoever this article is, they asking them, and the police haven't given any information.
Wow. You know how much of that went on years ago back in Mama's days? And before Mama and Grandma? How many blacks, people of color were missing, were probably lives taken. Nobody knew. Nobody cared. They didn't look for them.
She said she paid the coroner's office $250 fee to claim Dexter's body. It took her several more weeks to figure out where he was buried and how to find him. Okay, so that's
so she wanted to bring closure to this. So she was on it. She was constantly on them. She
stayed on it.
But shame on them. I wonder if this is another lawsuit.
And they in the middle of another lawsuit. So
the Jackson Police Department did her family wrong. They really did. The one death because of excessive force, and the other, her son's death, they covering it.
Yeah. So
come on now.
So that's why they said at least find out what happened. Get somebody in there to research and find out what happened. If there's a good enough reason, then you should be fine then, police department.
But nothing can bring her son back, though.
Right.
And y'all hid the truth.
Emma says, I agree, Lenore.
Shame.
Yeah.
Gosh, God's going to get y'all.
Yep.
Planting the bad seeds. They always do. And we're thinking. They sure did. Yeah, you're right. Gosh, when they do excessive whatever, they don't want themselves being seen in it.
Yep.
And like I said, that black life didn't matter to them.
Right.
That's sad.
All right. So moving on to some more news. The Rock. You know I love The Rock. Ma, you love The Rock, don't you?